Hello and welcome. I'm Cheryl Chapman and I'm here with another interview with an amazing, incredible TEDxAinleyTopWomen speaker. We are sharing here the journey to TEDx, December 13th, 2019. And it was a journey indeed. But what I would like to do today is I would like to introduce you to an amazing, incredible lady. I've known her for a couple of years yet, very determined, very on point, and doesn't like wasting time, but you'll find out about that in a minute. So who are you and what do you do? Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bilyana Georgieva. I'm a neurobusiness transformation expert. Been doing this for 19 years now, and I'm a speaker as well. Now I'm a TEDx speaker, and I'm an executive coach.
So we're talking about the journey to TEDx. So how did you find out about the opportunity, and what made you want to do a TEDx talk at that stage when you found out about it?
It actually started from 2014. I had a massive burnout that year, and I left my job, and then I spent pretty much 9 months of sleeping and recovering. And that was the time when I would get so much into TEDx. I loved every single video. It was super motivational for me, and I totally adore all the people who have been on stage and having the gut to be on stage and share their journey, their knowledge, and what they've been experiencing. And in 2019, I had lined up speaking gigs on September, October, and November. And at some point I was thinking, it was May, and I was thinking, you know what, universe, I want one more speaking event in December so I can close 2019 with a big bang. And literally the second thought in my head was like, I always wanted to have to be on TEDx stage, and I was like, no, that's just like, if I have a dream, that would be like way beyond all kind of my dreams. And then in September, Cheryl Chapman jumped on one of our Facebook groups and said, who wants to be on TEDx and be a TEDx speaker? I was like, there's no way that this is happening. Like this is like, it's happening, like someone is giving me this opportunity to speak on stage on TEDx. And I just jumped in. I said yes, without no idea what I'm going to talk about, when, like, any kind of logistic stuff, and usually stuff what I always ask. I was like, it doesn't matter what's going on, I will be there, whatever day is and date, and like, I just have to be there. And back in May, I was I applied for another speaking event, which was 12th and 13th of December, and they rejected me. And I was speaking with Caroline, which is another TEDx speaker from the group. And I was on the phone with her, and I was like, you know, I was rejected for this speaking event. And she was like, that's same for me, you know, that's just not really nice, you know. And I was like, actually, this only can mean that something much bigger is going to happen on that date, you know. So let's remember 12th and 13th of December. And then Cheryl, you came to us and said, the date is 13th of December. Caroline called me and said, do you remember that whole event? I completely forgot about it. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly why we were rejected, both of us, so we can jump on TEDx. It was the other funny thing about the whole journey for TEDx was that on 12th of December, I had a massive meeting, full day meeting in Kent. So if you know England and UK, Kent is southeast, right? So I was on Thursday, full day meeting in Kent. In the evening, I was having a Christmas party in London. I end up at Heathrow on Thursday evening. So I slept 3 hours, got on a flight so I can be to Manchester and then train to Huddersfield. And then I can be on the stage of TEDx, and then I had to fly on the same day back to London so I can be on another event on Saturday and Sunday. And when I look at my calendar before that was happening, I was like, I have no clue how on earth, logistically, physically, I'm gonna make it between Southeast England and then North and then back to South. It was crazy, and I'm so glad I did it. Like the whole idea of how logistically I'm gonna do all that was massive. But at the end of the day, even after 3 hours of sleep, I made it.
Yeah, which was perfect. And again, I think that's a credit to what you do in business. You know, you're constantly juggling. Obviously, I know a bit about your background, having worked with you before. You know, constantly juggling, helping people to become organized and efficient. And I was like, I know you've got the challenges, but I just know you're going to pull it off. So that was no worries. All we did was, I think we put you a little bit later in the schedule, you know, just in case there was any, you know, delays. I've been asking people about, you know, what kind of inner battles came up, but I think for you, that was the battle, you know, like, how do I get to where I need to go? And you persevered.
Actually, there was another battle as well.
Oh, okay, what was that then?
There was another battle because when I had to do my video to record and then send it, so basically to be approved as a TEDx speaker, I lost my voice completely. Like never in my life, I completely lost my voice so much that I couldn't even whisper. If I could whisper, I would do a video, definitely, but I couldn't even whisper. And then the next day, after I lost completely my voice, I was flying to Malta for 10 days for an event. And that event was really intensive, as we were getting up at 3 in the morning, starting at 4 in the morning, finishing 9 p.m. So there was no way I could actually do such video for you. And it's a massive thank you for this, because I texted you as no voice and I explained the whole situation, and you did allow me to actually submit my video with 2 weeks delay, which was like a blessing for me, and I'm so grateful for this. It has been massively in my head, like how on earth I can apply if I don't even have a voice.
Yeah, that's definitely a big battle then, isn't it? So yes, I mean, at the end of the day, we were on quite a tight time frame anyway. I think I'd done a little bit like you had, you know, set out to the universe, you know, I've moved into a new space, you know, I want to be busy, you know, working, creating an income, etc. And then decided that I was going to do a TED talk, of course. And, you know, not that I didn't have anything else to do. So yeah, it was kind of, you know, a bit last minute. There was a blip in the middle, of course, where I was like, am I even going to do this? There were a lot of TED rules, regulations. I fully understand that. It's, you know, a license, a franchise, you've got to follow the rules. You know, for me, there were a lot of rules, and I kind of start reading the first paragraph and then I go, oh, I'm bored now. So there were lots of things that we didn't know about, that we weren't aware about. For example, I didn't realize I couldn't be a TED speaker. So at one stage I was like, oh, why am I doing it? And I thought, actually, I'm going to do it because, you know, there are lots of other people that this will benefit. So that's okay. I built a bridge and got over myself, as Marion Bevington would say on that one. And then there were other things that, you know, it's a journey. There's lots of ups and downs on a journey. So here we are now. It's like the 13th of, you know, December. You've put your submission in. You know, I've given you some feedback. And I know that you were super, you know, like you wanted it to be, you know, under sort of 10 minutes rather than 15. So tell the audience what your talk is about, without giving away too much, because we're going to put a link in to your talk. But what was the title of your talk?
The title was yes, another challenge. When I had to decide, my intuition was I want to present a method called 1 minute update, which is purely designed for executives, as we spend 4 days every week in meetings, and I designed a method which can help executives, you know, to free their time. And then I called my branding consultant, and she was like, no, you got it so wrong. You should talk about intuition and neuroscience, because you combine neuroscience with business transformations. And I was like, sweetheart, TEDx does not allow to talk about neuroscience. And I was like, I think I got it right. And I had to completely opposite the logic and opposite of my core business. I had to go with my intuition on the topic and speak about the method what I created, because I created different methods, but that was the most I would say the one which I really wanted to get out, and I in my head was like, if that's my first TEDx talk, I will always remember that day in my head. So I really want to present that thing. And here I am on the day. looking at the whole audience, my brain went completely blank. I was in a massive pain because 3 days before that, my dentist called me and pushed me to have a surgery. So I was with 10 stitches in my mouth. I couldn't even, I wasn't sure how I'm going to pronounce. I'm a foreigner, okay? So I know I have accent. I'm very well aware of this. And I had all these stitches in my mouth and I was in pain. And I was like, you know what? Like I was watching the whole audience. I wasn't even sure if that's my audience, like how many executives there are there, if they're going to understand the whole topic and how they're going to interact, if it's going to be funny for them. And all these doubts were going on in my in my brain, the pain in my mouth. And I was like, you know, just let go. And I went in such a creation state that I was on a stage, and all I remember that at some point I remember seeing the 1 minute left, and literally I was shitting myself because I was halfway through what my speech was. I was so lost in time. And my brain had to quickly cut off and peel off the rest of the half of the speech and just deliver the core message from the second half of the speech. It turned out that it was the 1 minute from the 10 minutes what I wanted to deliver. And when I left the stage, I was like, I was shaking. I was like, I don't know if I run out of time. And it was longer, and it was like, they're not going to publish it because I ran out of time, you know. I was like, I can't believe that. But because I was in such a creation state, I was like, you know what, the most important thing for me was that I was in such creation, and I loved it. I just loved, and I had fun on that speech. And I was like, it doesn't matter what the outcome will be, I had fun of being on stage. And also the red dot, we know all of us know the rules. You can't get out of the red dot. And I was in a super high heels trying to not slip and flip, you know, back and basically completely be inappropriately on the floor or something stupid, you know. But it was absolutely amazing. On top of this, after my speech, I was taking pictures with the other speakers, and at some point I realized that they have a spinach on my teeth, and I was like, I can't believe I went on TEDx, you know, on TEDx with spinach on my teeth. No one told me this. Like, I can't believe that. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
I don't think anybody
really.
So we've been through the 13th. We've had the experience. You're then dashing back down to London, and then of course there was Christmas, and then there was like the kind of wait, you know, for putting the video up. And I know, you know, I know when I put your video up, I made an executive decision on my own because your title was too long for TED, another rule. And I was like, I really want to get these up. I really want to get these up. And I know we had a conversation afterwards, and you were saying, no, I don't want this title. And I was like, oh, I don't think there's anything they can do about it. But luckily, we were able to talk to TED and explain what happened. So they changed the title to what you wanted it to be, which was great. But in that kind of period of time, which was about 2 weeks, I think, you know, after Christmas, there was that sort of anticipation, wasn't there, of will it or won't it? Because of course, just because you do a TEDx talk, it doesn't mean to say that it's going to go up. So, you know, TEDxAinleyTopWomen, I've got 20 submissions. You know, I'm like I don't know, I imagine like I'm like a father expecting 20 kids all at the same time. But what was it for you? What was it like for you just in that waiting period of time?
That was the second part of my journey, to be honest. Like, if in the first part I had to let go so many times of, am I going to be a speaker? Am I not going to be a speaker? The second part of publication was yet completely another journey, and I want to share that one. Originally, TEDx Talk told us that it's going to be published on 6th of January, which is my name day, by the way. In Bulgaria, we have name days. It's like celebrating a second birthday. It was like, that's amazing. Like that's going to be such a memorable name day 2020 for me, you know. And then on 6th of January was my first working day for 2020, and I was so excited that I couldn't sleep previous night. And then on 6th of January, TEDx didn't go on. I had rejections from 6 banks on investment in my business. I had rejection from a training which I applied, and I've been waiting for 1 year now, like really eager to get that training. And it was a crucial training for my whole business and the company I run. And it was like literally every hour was kind of a rejection. By the end of the day, there was absolutely no news from TEDx, right? And then Tuesday, nothing, and another list of rejections the whole day. And then Wednesday, I will always remember that. On Wednesday, I was sitting on top of Primrose Hill. If you know London, Primrose Hill is like the highest point in London, and you see this view of the Shard, London Eye, St. Paul Cathedral, all the skyscrapers in Bank, the skyscrapers in Canary Wharf. And I've been crying for like 2 hours. Like, what's the point of life? Like, I literally went back to basics. Like, what is the whole point of running business? Yeah, we all try to balance work and holidays and resting. Some people choose to create families, and their kids are their legacy. Some people choose to have books as legacy. Like, what is my legacy in life, and what is the whole point of the whole life exactly, as I've been rejected for 3 days in a row. And in the middle of my crying, people walking around and looking at me like super sad, and they're like, okay, she's not doing very well, that's fine. It, like, my phone beeps, and it's like a message saying, oh my God, Bilyana, you've got your TEDx coming up. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it's in the middle of my crying, you know. That's my period when I just need to finish all this crying so I can get over my shit and like just keep going. And as I was crying, I started laughing out of nowhere. So people were looking at me and was like, she totally lost it for sure. Absolutely sure that I lost it. And the second thought actually in my head was like, okay, like after jumping around like a kid, like, finally, like the list is that my TEDx is now published. And then I sat down and I was like, wait a minute. The whole journey on 13th of December to get there and to speak, and like forgetting my whole speech and getting into creation stage. And I was thinking, and right now asking, what's the whole point of life? And I got that you know, life is for me is not about the journey itself. Even it's about the moment when you create. And that was TEDx for me, to always be that one, that I was in that creation. And I know I said it so many times, but I was in such a creation state that time didn't exist, body didn't exist, like nothing was existing. It was me and the audience. And I think that was actually the answer of my what's the whole point of life? It's creating. It's that moment when we create.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, talking about you know, my original part of going for TEDx Women was, you know, well, this might be a way to be able to get to be a TED speaker, and then of course that didn't turn out. But I remember on that day sitting there, I was the only person in the room that knew what everybody was going to talk about. I was the only person who'd had a little fiddle with everybody's, you know, speech in some shape or form. And I remember, I can't even remember who was on at the time, but I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is what it's all about. Because for me, you know, I'm an architect in the genetic blueprinting that we use, you know, the 5 different types. I'm an architect, and we are all about the other. I mean, that doesn't mean to say that I don't think about myself, of course I do. But in that moment, it's interesting that you talk about this today, because I was like, this is what it's about. this is about me helping, guiding, supporting, not only women, because we did have a male speaker as well, but in that moment, it was all about, you know, this is why I'm here, to help guide other people to get up, you know, and say, why not me? You know, why not me? And even if I'm at the other end of London, or if there's something going on, you know, that's distracting, I can still do this, even if I don't believe in myself 100%. You know, even if, you know, there's some technical issues, which we've been talking about with other speakers, there's still a way to be able to do it. And it's looking at it and saying, you know, how can I do this? You know, how can this work for as many people as I want it to? You know, so it's interesting, we both came to some sort of realization, you know, along the TEDxAinleyTopWomen journey, of course.
Yeah.
Cool,
there is a big, like, absolutely, there is a big thank you to you as well, because when I applied, obviously because of my branding lady, I was having so many doubts, like, did I really choose the right topic? Because it's something what I created in the past. I use it, but I'm not that much hands-on operation. And obviously speaking out on something which I created, but I use it and I more now teach other people. It was like all these doubts. And then I had a few sessions with you to actually understand, am I on the right path? Am I delivering my message in the right way? But also there's so many strict rules in TEDx. And to be very honest, yeah, I hate wasting my time. And I hate when I waste other people's time. And that's the whole, like, what I teach people. And I didn't want to go into TEDx and then talk about something which then is going to be rejected by TEDx, or there's a big chance that TEDx is going to say, oh, you say something, and whatever their rules are. And no matter how many times I read those rules, I was like I really need a really good opinion, like, outside my head, to tell me if what I'm planning to say is gonna be good as for executives, but also is gonna pass all these rules from TEDx. And that was absolutely brilliant. It helped me. First of all, it saved my time a lot, I have to say. It taught me a lot because as a public speaker, we all have our own way of you know, creating our speech when we are on stage, but TEDx is completely different. Is different story, it's different structure of the whole speech, and it's different. You can't walk on the stage, and as a professional speaker, that's part of the body language. When you deliver a message, part of 50% of what you're saying is your body language, and you're like on a spot. That's it. You can't. And I wanted your teaching and mentoring was actually helping me to make sure that I am going to be successful on this one. So thank you so much for absolutely brilliantly helping me and mentoring before the TEDx and on the day as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, that means a lot. It is a difficult, I mean, you know, obviously we're a part of the Professional Speakers Academy, and there's a certain way that you do certain things there, and it became really apparent to me that wasn't what TED were looking for. So then it was like, okay, I can see that that's not what they're looking for, but what are they looking for? And then it was like, you know, I'm reading books, I'm watching TEDx videos, you know, my husband thinks I've gone absolutely crazy every time. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, you're watching a TEDx video, you know. And so I really sort of crammed everything in, and then I was like, okay, there's a structure here, there's a strategy here. I've worked out what it is, you know. I'm reading enough about to know what it is that TEDx are looking for. But of course, you know, in that period of uploading all the videos and then, you know, doing a lot of fingers crossing and bum twitching, as I say, you know, there was this period of time I was like, oh, please, like, this structure be okay. I didn't really know if it was. It was, you know, it was just me looking at other videos and going, there is definitely a structure here. I recognize it. I'm very good at that sort of thing. But yeah, so it's really exciting. So the video's gone up. You've had like a life epiphany on Primrose Hill. How amazing is that? So despite all those kind of like inner battles, you know, those moments of doubt, if somebody said to you, you know, oh, I'm thinking of doing a TED talk or a TEDx talk, or I'm thinking of getting up there and sharing a message, what would you say to them?
Funny enough, I was having a business breakfast this morning. and the guy was he had his business card saying he's a TEDx speaker. So I asked him what's going on, and he said, "Oh no, I'm going to be TEDx speaker in May." And we start talking like what is his topic, what he's going to talk about, and all that. So it's fun how people actually announce that they're already TEDx speakers before they did it. But it was experience with them and to share the whole journey and like some and all that, and they found it really useful. But also as since I was published as a TEDx speaker, I went to the first business meeting in January where I went. I met the guy, and he looked around. He was like, "I really expected to have cameras around you," and I was like, "What?" And he said, "Well, you're a TEDx speaker and you're a professional speaker, and I really thought that you're gonna walk around with cameras around." I was like, really, people think about that? Like, I'm going to a business meeting. It's not like I'm on stage. But it opened a lot of doors. I'm speaking on the 11th of March at a round table with first it was announced with 9 CEO coming. Now they sent me an email this morning saying they're going to be 15. Is that okay? I'm like, okay, that's getting bigger, but they're all C-level people from retail companies, specifically headquartered in London, and they are either already on a journey for digital business transformations or just business transformations, and they want to know how they're doing it, are they on the right path? So yes, and then part of this email with, is it okay to be 15? They were like, are we okay to announce that you are a TEDx speaker? I'm like, of course.
Yes, please do.
Absolutely, do it, So I had also another meeting with an amazing CEO who is based in Paris, and he's an MBA who graduated London Business School and Columbia Business School, which is in New York. And he was like, is it okay if I show you a TEDx with the MBA in both schools? I'm like, if you're at Hong Kong, you can do it as well. It's amazing, absolutely amazing, because people see it, the more people see my message, the better, I'll be so happy if more people see it.
Yeah, brilliant. And so in order to keep within your timekeeping, I'm going to say thank you so much, Bilyana. Thank you for sharing your emotions on the TEDx journey, TEDxAinleyTopWomen journey, and also for being, brave enough to stand forward and say, yes, please, I'm going to do it, even though I've got no idea what I'm going to talk about or anything at the beginning, and for turning up in your red, looking ready for action straight away, looking fabulous, and sharing such a great message. So thank you so much. And obviously we'll share the link to Bilyana's talk in this blog, so that you can go and have a look at Bilyana's talk and be inspired by her great idea, which obviously is the whole concept behind TED. So thank you very much, Bilyana, and thank you for your lovely comments.
Thank you, Cheryl. Have an amazing day, night, evening, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you very much.